Good. So tonight we're going to go out of our normal classes because next week is Passover, and I'd like to shine some lights on what is Passover when it comes to Kabbalah. Hi. Come on, perfect time.
It smells so good out there.
Yeah. So, who knows the story of Passover? You guys know the story of Passover? You know what happened?
Yeah.
Why we're celebrating Passover?
We ran away from slavery,
Yeah.
Egypt, Pharaoh.
Right.
Was it when they painted the top of their doors with blood so
Right.
God would pass over the Jewish homes?
Right. Right. Well, I'm gonna give you guys a very brief, only the surface level of what Passover is all about, and we're gonna get into some heavy stuff, some beautiful stuff of Kabbalistic way of understanding what Passover is all about. We learn in the Torah that it's about 3,500 years ago. All the Jews were in Egypt. About Torah says there were 600,000 men over 20 at one time in Egypt. And then we were slave. We were enslaved by this empire, the Egyptian empire, and they had a ruler called Pharaoh. And people were suffering, and they were slaves, and they didn't have freedom. And Moses was born. Moses was the leader. And he comes, and God tells him, go free your nation. And Moses comes, goes to Pharaoh, let my people go. And we know the whole story of 10 plagues. And we finally, on the night of 14 of Nisan, which is next Friday night, Pharaoh finally let the people leave Egypt. And it says that when they were leaving, they didn't have time to bake the bread enough, so they created matzah, which is unleavened bread. And we eat that. In the simple story is that we do this every year to remember that one day we were a slave. But we know in Kabbalah that is way, way beyond that. What happened 3,500 years ago in Egypt is happening right now. Those 600,000 souls that they were in Egypt, we are those souls. We are among those 600,000 souls. Remember this number and we'll talk about it. It's 600,000 souls. So what is Pesach? What does it mean for me to eat matzah? What does it mean for me to drink 4 cups of wine? Why do I have to go through all this? Every year. What's the point? What happens if I don't eat matzah? What happens if I don't pay any attention of what happens at the Seder table? Who cares what the Seder table is? Do you know what we put on a Seder table? On that Seder plate? You guys know?
Harusa.
Yeah, we put some stuff on it, right? And then we say blessing, we shake it, we drink wine, we eat food. Most of the time we get together, family, people get together, they say some blessing, some people explains, and it's a long, long thing. The book is long, in Haggadah it's a pretty long book, and we're supposed to read it all night, and it gets boring sometimes. We don't know what the heck is going on, and some people usually right after the food they go home. You know, they don't stay for the last 2 cups, and we totally don't get nothing from the Passover. Only for 7 more days we're not supposed to eat so many. We have so much restriction not to eat certain food, and we eat matzah, and that's Passover. We know in Kabbalah that every day has a unique energy force. Each day on its own has a unique energy force. Each day. And when it comes to holidays, when it comes to mueds, when it comes to New Year's, there is a different energy force that manifests itself in the whole universe. We have two New Year. We have one Rosh Hashanah and one Passover. And they're exactly 6 months apart. Rosh Hashanah falls on the beginning of the fall, and Passover falls in the beginning of spring. And they say that in Rosh Hashanah, everything is going to be clear of, am I going to leave this year or not? Am I going to be healthy or not? How much money I'm going to get? What happens to my relationship? Am I going to get married? Am I going to have a good relationship? Things like that will become set in Rosh Hashanah. The quantities of things, of the blessing. In Passover, it's all about the quality of the blessing that we receive. That means exactly what kind of a life I'm going to have, exactly what kind of a relationship I'm going to have, exactly how much money I'm going to receive, exactly the quality of all the blessing that we receive. It becomes clear on Passover. There is an energy force that's going to be manifest itself on the night of Passover for about 6 hours. About 6 hours, this fusion of light would come to the cosmos, not just the planet Earth, to everything in the cosmos, to all the planets, everywhere. Everything that God has created will benefit from this infusion of light. And what is this light brings? They call it freedom. Freedom from slavery. But that's just the surface of what it means. We will receive two different energy forces. We will receive the first energy that we receive, the first light that we receive is an energy that helps us to eliminate negative fear. Negative fear. What is negative fear in our life?
Something that holds us back.
Exactly. Like what?
Like being too cautious.
We are fearful of what? We are fearful of love. We are fearful of, I'm sorry?
The future.
Future. We worry about tomorrow. I'm afraid of tomorrow. I'm afraid of my health. I'm afraid of my wealth, right? I'm afraid of my relationship. I don't know what tomorrow is going to be. We're fearful. We're fearful people, right? Kabbalists, they call this fear a negative fear. When I don't have certainty, when I don't know what tomorrow is going to bring, when I don't know how am I going to be tomorrow, which we all fall into it, they call it a negative fear. On Pesach, for 6 hours, there's going to be a light force, an energy consciousness that would go to every part of this creation, that help every part of God's creation to have the power to overcoming that negative fear. So, against this negative fear, there is a positive fear. What is a positive fear? According to Kabbalah, according to spirituality.
Fear that keeps us safe.
No, that's again part of negativity. If I'm afraid of something physical, that's a negative fear. Have you heard that this person is a God-fearing person?
Mm-hmm.
And they say if you want to be safe and sound, you have to be afraid of God. Have you heard this?
Yeah.
That this man is a Khoda tarse. He's afraid. And they say that we should be afraid of God. Should we be afraid of God? No. Why should we be afraid of God? We know that God is all giving, is all good. God is beautiful. God is full of light. God is full of blessing. So why should I fear God? The only fear that Kabbalistically or spirituality we're talking about is the fear that I'm not with the God. The only thing that I should fear in my life is the fear that I am not with God. Not that God is not with me. God is always with us. God is with us 24/7. God is watching us 24/7. Good time, bad time, difficult time, challenging time, happy times. God is with us all the time. I want you to totally understand this beautiful, beautiful concept. That God is with us all the time. The problem is not with God. The problem is with me. That sometimes I turn my back towards God. Because when He wants to give me things, He wants to give me His life force, He wants to give me His blessing, getting this blessing are difficult, are challenging. So I turn my back against this situation that gives me the light. If you remember, we learned that we're here to earn the light. We want the light. God wants to give us the light. But God is very proactive. God is not going to give me everything that I want, because not everything that I want is good for me. God is going to give me only things that are good for me. He knows better what is good for me. So everything that He gives me in a form of challenge. He gives me in a form of challenge, the difficulties. And sometimes I'm not happy with those difficulties. I don't like His plan. I don't like what He throws at me. So I turn back away from it. A challenge comes and I turn back away from it. A difficulty comes, I run away from it. Why people take drugs? Escape from the challenges. They don't want to go through the challenges. They don't want to go through the difficulties. So they turn their back towards God, and then they don't see the God, and then they think God is not there. We learn in our Kabbalah classes that God, this light force, constantly wants to fill me up with His light. But we learn we need to earn it. We need to earn the light. He's not going to give it to us free. There is no free lunch in God's system. Because if it would have been free, we wouldn't enjoy it. It wouldn't feel good. We learn that we need light. We learn that we need to earn this light. So when I don't welcome the challenges, when I don't welcome the difficult situation, when I run away from the people that I'm not quite happy with, I run away from the situation that are too difficult, and I look for an instant gratification, instant G, then poor God is standing telling me, look, I want to give it to you, but you need to earn it. And when it's become too difficult for me to earn it, I don't see the light. So we have two different fears again. A negative fear is when I'm afraid of unknown. When I don't see God in everything. When I don't realize that God is here everywhere, in everything, in every situation. When a car pulls right in front of me and creates a blockage for me, and I don't see that as an action of God. When a friend tells me something that I'm not so happy about it, and I don't see that being an act of God. When I refuse to see the life force of God, then I'm fearful. But if you know, at all time, at every second of your life, God is with you. God is in everything. He is creating this scenario for you. He's creating this situation for you. Whatever that situation may be, He's creating it for you. Because He knows by you overcoming that challenge, you're going to receive the light from it. The light is not free. The light needs work. The light needs process. You need to go to school to get your degree. If I cheat and I go and pass my board and I become a doctor or a lawyer or whatever, am I going to be good at it? No. Am I going to be happy with myself? No. I'll be happy for a split of second that I'm happy I got the license. But do I have the knowledge? No, because I didn't earn it. Then I'm afraid. If I haven't earned something, I'm afraid. But if you earn something, you're never afraid of losing it. We're always afraid of the things that we don't really feel that we own it, that it's mine.
Yeah.
So the negative fear is when I don't see God in things. And the positive fear is that I don't want to be disconnected from the life force of God. I don't want to be disconnected from the life force of God. I don't want to turn my back towards the light. I always want to face the light. And light comes in a form of challenges. Always in a form of challenges. The more light that I want, the more difficult the challenges. That's the rule. There's no way about it. There's no other way about it. You know, if you look at this sign that you see that is considered to be the sign of Kabbalah, there are 10 sephirots. There are 10 sephirots. I know this is a little bit technical, but if you learn it, you're going to love it. It's called Keter Chochma Bina, Chesed Gevurah Tiferet, Netzach Chod, Yesod, and Malchut. All right? We live in the world of Malchut. We live at the lower part of this figure. The light force of God is way up there. And then it brings its light because if I connect myself to the light force of God, I get burned. It's too much. Imagine you connect your iPhone to the energy power of Los Angeles DWP. What happens? Bleep, you burn. Right? It needs to go through some transformers to bring the light to it would be harnessed so I can use it. If I want to drink a water, I cannot just put my head under this huge waterfall to drink. I get suffocated. I need to get a little cup and take water from this huge waterfall. So there's a huge light force that comes from this sephirah called Keter. It first goes to Chokhmah, then goes to Bina, then goes to Chesed, then goes to Gevurah, then Tiferet, Netzach Chod, and it finally comes down. So this light force becomes less. It becomes harnessed. So until it comes to reach to Malchut, then I can drink it. We actually, these three upper Sephirot, Keter, Chokhmah, Bina, it's pure light. It's pure light. Chokhmah considers to be the dad, the father. Bina is considered to be the mother, the Shekhinah. Have you heard the name Shekhinah? They say Shekhinah gives blessing, Shekhinah gives healing. Shekhinah is the motherly aspect of the light force. It's the female aspect of the light force. It's the energy store. Just like...
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
Just a little
It
bit.
was buzzing in my ear.
That season.
Okay. So the Shekhinah, the female aspect of the light force, is what nourishes us. We receive everything from the Shekhinah, from Bina, from this Sephirah. We receive everything from Bina. You know, when somebody uses cocaine or heroin, you know what happens? We are in Malchut, we are in the lowest part. When somebody uses a very high powerful drugs, they go immediately to Bina without any filtration. Without any filtration. They feel wonderful. Wow. Right? They get a shot, God forbid they shoot themselves, and immediately they feel wow. Why? Because they go immediately to Bina. But what happens? Because they didn't earn it, they didn't go through the process of earning the Bina, they fall. It doesn't last. It's an instant G. It's an instant G. It creates destruction. It's just a light bulb. When the two poles hit each other without any form of restriction, short circuit. The light blows. Now, so we need this 6 Sephirah, which is called Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferet, Netzach Chod, Yesod. We need this filtration system so we can handle the light. We don't want to go to Bina. We don't want to go to Chokhmah. We need this filtration system. We need these transformers to bring the light in a way that I can use it, that I can enjoy it. I know it's a little technical, but you'll understand how it works beautifully on Passover. We receive from this light that comes on Passover, so we receive one form of energy, which was what? To eliminate negative fear. Now, this light force gives us one more thing too. It gives us the power that we receive, we eliminate negative love or negative lust. What is a negative love?
Something toxic?
I'm sorry?
Something toxic?
Something toxic, or let me put it this way, is actually negative lust, L-U-S-T. What is a negative lust?
I mean, like when you're like
When I'm in a relationship that is not for me.
when you're vulnerable and you're needy, you don't really love yourself enough where you have to go find it somewhere else.
Right. I'm in a relationship that is not really good for me. I love something that is not mine. You know, like, God forbid, adultery. When somebody likes somebody who's married, it's a negative love, right? When I love my neighbor's house, it's not my house. I'm not appreciating my own home, and I'm envy of my neighbor's grass, neighbor's car, neighbor's money, somebody else's that is not mine. They call that negative love. And we all at one point become a victim of that. When do we become a victim of negative love? When I don't appreciate what I have. When I'm not happy with what I have and I want something that is not mine. When I go after something that is not mine, what happens? It's the short circuit. I get burned, I get disappointed, I get hurt. I lose the one that I have too. When I don't appreciate what I have, and I look for something that is not mine, it's not meant for me, it's not ready for me, then it's called negative love. When I desire something that is not mine. So this light force that we receive on Passover, that's two things for us. Two things that we are slaved by. Our negative fear and our negative love. The story of Passover, it's a code. It's only a code. It's only a surface of what's really going on. The name of Egypt in Torah is Misraim. Misraim, کشور مصر. Misraim means chaos. شما برای مهمونی بیدید؟
جا
برای
نه من
کلاس
خواستم ببینم کلاس شما چجوری.
خواهش میکنم.
تعریف کلاس شما رو زیاد شد.
خواهش میکنم. So Misraim means somewhere that is dark, somewhere that is narrow, somewhere that is chaos, somewhere that the challenges seems very, very dark. So every time we hear the name Misraim, it's not referring to the poor country of Egypt. It's talking about the consciousness that we all get stuck to. When I don't know what to do, when I'm stuck, when I don't know what tomorrow is going to bring, when I don't know the right from wrong from right, when I can't make my mind, when things are not clear, when I'm in darkness. We're in Misraim. We're a slave. And then when I'm in a dark room, when I'm in a dark situation, when I'm in a dark consciousness, what takes over? Negative fear. I'm worried. I don't know. I'm helpless. Then I start wanting things that is not really mine. I'm not happy with my situation. I'm not happy with my story. I'm not happy with God's story for me. So when it says God brings you out of Misraim, it's not talking about a story that happened 3,500 years ago. It's talking about now. We're all slave to our consciousness, to our negative consciousness. We are slave to this Misraim, to this darkness, to this difficult situation that we get lost, we lose control, we don't know what to do, we get disappointed, we want to complain, we're not happy, we feel like a victim. Why things happened like this? I didn't want this, it's not for me. So the light that we receive on Passover, and this light comes 6 hours, it's like you know when the store has grand opening or they have special sales like on Black Friday, they say sale is for like 24 hours. This light comes in 6 hours on Passover, and their impression of it lasts about 7 days. So if I have the right consciousness on Passover, I can totally connect to this light force and bring it to my life. Me and you should be able, on the first day of Passover, to be crisp clear of what I want. What are the good things in my life? What I don't need. What is the right thing? What is the wrong thing? What is the right decision? What is the wrong decision? If I truly connect to the power of Passover, those 6 hours that seems to be boring, not knowing what the heck is going on, if I truly connect to it, I will receive this light in an amazing form, and it would elevate my consciousness. And on the first day of Passover, I know exactly what I need to do.
You mean like Erev Pesach? Like
Erev
Shabbat?
Pesach. Yes, the first night. The first night. Like I said, those 6 hours are the most important hours of the year for every human being, every creature in the world. But then it lasts. It lasts. The energy becomes less and less and less, but it stays until 7 days. So during these 7 days, we're nourishing our consciousness. We're nourishing our soul with this powerful force of Passover. They call it the holiday of freedom. Freedom from what? Freedom from negative consciousness. Freedom from being stuck in a dark place and not knowing what is the right thing or wrong thing to do. So how can I connect to this energy of Passover? What do I need to do to bring this light into my life? So what do we do on Passover night? We eat matzah. Say it's very, very important to eat matzah. And let me tell you guys something personal. This is a personal thing that I want to share with you because I love you guys and I know, and I made that mistake when I was always your age. One Passover, on the first day or the second of the Passover, I ate something chametz. I was with a friend, he offered me something, I didn't want to look bad, I was naive enough, and I ate chametz. That year became the darkest year of my life. No, not the guilt. That year became the darkest day of my life. I know now why what happened. Okay, so what do we eat? We eat matzah, and we stay away from chametz. What is matzah? Actually, the word matzah and chametz, they're very much the same. They both are 3 letters, and the only letters that is different between matzah and chametz is hey. What is hey? The letter hey versus letter chet. Like this. They're both the same. Letter hey. Where was it? Letter hey has an opening, and letter chet, if the light goes in, it gets stuck. Nothing happens to it. So chametz is the things that makes my ego, nourishes my ego. Everything that nourishes my ego is chametz. When we say the difference between a masa and a bread is what? The bread rises, right? It has yeast, it has rises. What is rising? Ego. When I'm full of myself. Every time I'm full of myself, I'm disconnected from the light force of God. In order for me to receive the light of Passover, I have to diminish my ego. I have to diminish my stupid 3% consciousness that I have. So by eating matzah, you heard the phrase, we are what we eat, right? So when I eat matzah, I don't put any aspect of ego into my consciousness, into my body. I become pure. When you eat matzah, we're connecting to chokhmah. To chokhmah, this light force that manifests itself. The other thing we do on the first night and the second night is 4 glasses of wine. Right? Why do we have to drink 4 glasses of wine? And they say, why do you have to lean on your left hand and drink the wine with your right hand? And it has to be a minimum of 3 ounces. Why? Why do I have to lean on my left? Why do I have to be sitting? And what does the wine do? Now, if you cannot drink wine, you should drink grape juice. It has the same thing. Why 4 cups? Why do I have to? What happens if I only drink 1 cup? Or 2? Usually people, after dinner, there are 2 cups after the dinner, right? And we usually get so tired after dinner, and we forget about the last 2 cups. The 4 cups of wine represents the 4 letter of the Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey. This light force that we receive, God has different names, right? We have the 72 names of God, and the most amazing name of God is the 4 letter of the Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey. Everybody knows Hebrew letters? No? Yes? This is Yud. This is Hey. That's Vav. And Hey again. We have Yud, Hey, Vav, and Hey. Vav, the numerical value of Vav is 6, and there are 6 sefirot.
اینجا ندارین اسم خدا رو یود
No, in general. So, when you drink 4 cups of wine, you're actually connecting to the full potential of the light force that it comes in the form of Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey. In order for me to grasp the totality of that light, so I can eliminate my ego, so I can get out of my darkness, my chaos, is to connect with this light force of the Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey. And you guys know the Seder plate? Have you seen the Seder plate? First, it has to be a round plate, and we put 6 items on the Seder plate. Do you know what they are?
I think it's
Egg, charoset, lamb shanks, bitter herbs. There are 6 elements we put on this Seder, right? Those 6 elements are corresponding to Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yesod. Have you guys seen the shield of David? The Star of David? It has 6 points, right? The 6 points of the shield of David are the 6 Sefirot. These 6 Sefirot, it's called Ze'er Anpin. I know I'm throwing names at you guys, but it's okay. Ze'er Anpin means a process to receive the light. On Passover, I want to draw the light, but I want it in a harmonious way. I want it through transformers. I don't want it like a drug to go from Malchut all the way to Bina. I don't want Stanji. I want to draw this energy from Bina through this process that we call Seder plate. Seder means order. Order. So I want to bring light in an orderly way into my consciousness. I don't want too much of it. I don't want too little of it. I want it just perfect. I want it to come in a harmonious way so I can totally observe it and enjoy it. So throughout the whole 7 days, they say it's a mitzvah to eat matzah. Why is it mitzvah to eat matzah? Because the more I eat matzah, the more I am without my ego. I am what I eat. Matzah has no ego. They call it the poor man bread. Bravo. Poor man bread. What do you mean poor? Poor in which way? Not having ego. Not having ego. So if I'm totally connect to what's happening on that night, and there are 15 blessings we say that night. The first thing is a Kaddish. I know the person in the head of the family would stand up, say the Kaddish of wine, we drink the wine. The second is washing the hand. The third is we start doing 15 different blessings. Why 15? Why not 16? Why 20? Why not 10? Why 15? We say the name of the God was what? Yud Hey Vav Hey. Yud, numerical value of Yud is 10. Hey is 5. So the 15 connects me to what? The Yud Hey of the light force, which is the potential. What is the Vav? The Seder plate, which is the 6. Have you noticed we make the Seder plate, we put 6 items, and then we put 3 matzah on the top of it, right? 3 matzah. So 6 items, 3 matzah. And the plate is malchut. So you're forming a 10 sefirot. You're forming a laptop. You're forming a laptop and you're connecting to what? To the Wi-Fi of the light force of God. Mm-hmm. And then, let's say you have a laptop and there is a Wi-Fi and you want to connect to it. What do? You get on beyond your laptop and you start connecting to the Wi-Fi. What do? You push buttons. Right? You turn on your laptop, you push, Control P and it prints, right? Start working. Once you put down, you start playing with your laptop. So what do we do with the Seder plate? Everybody has to hold the Seder plate and says, Allah ma niyadiya khalu. Remember this? Yeah. This blessing is not Hebrew. It's Aramaic. What are we saying? It's the software. It's your programming. You're connecting to the Wi-Fi of the Yud Kei Vav Kei. That's why they say everybody should hold this plate and say Allah ma niyadiya khalu abatana bara 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 to the end. Right? And why is it Aramaic? Why is it not Hebrew?
It's not Hebrew, it is Hebrew.
It's Aramaic. Aramaic is the letters of the Hebrew, but it's a different language.
It's a password. It's code.
It's the language of Aramaic was created by the Kabbalists to connect with the light force by bypassing all the negative angels. Every time you want to connect to God, there are good angels and there are negative angels. And they can get in there and mess up your connection. They're like the viruses. Aramaic language is antivirus. Is antivirus. Nobody can connect to it. No virus can connect to your connection between your Seder plates and the light force of God when you recite the Allah Mani Yadiya Khalu. So what am I doing on Passover? I want to draw energy into my life. This energy is only coming the first 6 hours. It's like pouring down. It's like grand opening. It's like Black Friday. You go shop now. You still can go the rest of the 7 days to shop, but the best items are in those 6 hours. It's like pouring down, and I want to connect to it. So I go there. First, when you go shopping, you need a card, right? You need a card to put your shopping stuff in it. So you need a vessel to draw that light. If my shopping cart is full, there's no way I can get anything, put anything in it. You need a vessel to bring that light down. So The more room I have in my car, the more light I can bring into myself. Right? So I need to empty my vessel to get the light. How do I empty my vessel? What is blocking my vessel?
Your ego.
My ego. My ego, who doesn't believe in it, who says these are all joke, these are all tradition, oh, my grandpa did it. No! It's a technology, it's nothing but Kabbalistic technology. I need to empty myself so I can bring this light down into my system. The more I let my ego go, the more I come out of myself and I stop being worried about myself and what am I gonna do and what is this how they say what is different between tonight with the rest of the nights of the year. There's only one difference. The sale is happening on that night. The sale of the light force of the Yud K Vav K that is coming from Bina. That's the only night that this energy force becomes manifest in that world. The 4 kids that they ask question, why 4 kids? Why not 10 kids? Because again, we're connecting to Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey. Everything is in a form of Yud. And these 10 Sefirot, they are on 3 columns, right? Right column, left column, central columns. Just like an atom that has electron, proton, and neutron. 3 columns, right? So we drink 3 ounces of wine. When I eat matzah, what do? I'm cleansing my vessel. I'm cleaning up my vessel. I'm putting things in my vessel that has no ego. I'm not eating bread. I'm not eating chametz. I want to let go. I have to let go of everything and anything that bothers me in a stupid way. When I'm worried about myself, when I worry about my future, when I worry about my relationship, when I worry about my money, when I worry about everything, worry means I'm not seeing God. Worry means I'm into myself. Worrying is my ego is my perception. When I 100% have certainty that the life force of God is there, do I worry? If you know that the God is sitting right with you and tells you you're in the right place at the right time, would I worry? When I know He's with me tomorrow morning, would I be worried? When I know that He's holding my hand 24/7, would I worry? When do I worry? When I don't see Him. When my ego says, hey, He's not here. You're all by yourself. So I need to cleanse that stupid ego from my consciousness, to let it go so I can suck as much as light as I can into my being. And Masa helps me to have that vessel, to have that consciousness. It opens up. It opens up to receive Chokhmah, which means wisdom. Bina means understanding. We eat matzah to have wisdom. We drink the 4 cups of wine to have understanding. Oh wow. You know, during the Haggadah there is a story of Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva is one of the biggest Kabbalists of all time. We don't have time to go through it, his story, but he's like one of the biggest Kabbalists of all time. One of the stories in Haggadah is that one night, on a Passover night, Rabbi Akiva is sitting with his students and they're talking about Passover. And they say that Passover, you need to talk about spirituality, talk about Torah, talk about the story of Passover. Why? And this is what's happening with Rabbi Akiva. All night, he's studying. This is in the Haggadah. Study it. Study it that night. Read it. And then it says, morning comes, and Rabbi Akiva's students come and says, Rabbi Akiva, it's morning. Oh wow. That's the end of the story. What kind of a story is this? If I want to dwell, if you go to this grand opening and it's open for 6 hours, you go to Neiman Marcus and they say, for 6 hours, you can take as much as you can. Would I go 1 hour? No. I want to stay the whole 6 hours, right? I want to be there from the beginning to the end, to pick up as much as good as I want. And I need a big car, right? I need a big car to get everything that I want. Neiman Marcus, once a year, 6 hours, they're open. Come and get it.
You need an SUV for that.
You need an SUV. What is your SUV? An empty consciousness. What do I do during these 6 hours? I go shopping. If you go shopping and all of a sudden your friend comes and says, you know what, let's go have a coffee. What happens? You miss those hours that you could go and grab all those beautiful clothes that you want to grab. So when it says Rabbi Akiva was talking the whole night and it became morning, that means Rabbi Akiva was shopping for 6 hours straight. 6 hours straight. So the more you pay attention to Haggadah, the more you pay attention to what's happening that night. It's all about, guys, it's all about consciousness. Nothing but consciousness. It depends where your consciousness is on the night of Passover. What do you want to be? Where do you want to be next day? What do you want to receive that night? What is it for me to receive? And if you be honest yourself, be honest with yourself to understand, I have so much challenges in my life. I have so much difficulties to overcome. There is so much unknown factor in my life. And I need help. I need to be clear about my future, about my relationship, about my financial, about my health. I need to get clearance. I need to shed lights on my consciousness. And the more you pay attention that night to what Passover is really all about, the Kabbalistic way that we learn tonight, believe me, the morning after, you're going to be so enlightened. You're going to be so amazingly feel wonderful. And this year, the good news is that the first day of Passover is on Shabbat. That means the energy is even intensified. The Kabbalists believe that this year is is the best year of the cosmos ever. The best year. That doesn't mean necessarily easy, it's going to be even harder. But the light is there for you to receive. And if you want to make the best out of it, to receive all the benefits of this year, Passover is your ticket. Passover is your chance to connect to it. You know, they say that 10 days before Passover, it's a story in the Torah about Passover, that everybody should take a lamb. Every person in the family should take a lamb and tie that lamb to your bedpost.
A lime or a
Lamb, a lamb. Animal.
Oh, an animal.
Yeah, animal lamb.
I thought you said that.
I'm sorry. Actually, it's a guch. What do we call guch in English? Ram. A ram. A ram. Or a gusafa. We should get a ram and tie it to your bed. Then, at the night of Passover, on the last, right before Passover, you should kill this lamb or kill this ram, burn it, there would be nothing left of it. Well, what the heck is that? What the heck are we talking about? What is this ram? What was the god of Egyptian?
A cow?
Ram. Ram was the god of Egyptian. How could this Egyptian, this amazing consciousness, their god would be a ram? Guys, ram has the most potent energy of ego. The selfishness. The most selfish animal in the world is a ram.
Why?
Because God created it that way. And when God wanted to create different form of energies, He used the physical being to bring that energy. When God wanted to create the energy of saving, He created ants. Have you noticed what ants do? All day, what do? They go collect and bring it home. They go collect and bring it home. They don't say, oh, I have enough. No? They never say they have enough. What's the consciousness of an ant? Just gathering, that's saving. When God wants to bring saving, the consciousness of saving, into the physical world, He created ants. When God wanted it to bring the energy of selfishness into this world, He created a ram. That's why the ram was the god of Egyptian. Once again, what is Egypt? Darkness, selfishness. When we are in darkness, when I'm so much into myself, when I'm selfish, when I'm full of hate, when I'm full of jealousy, when I'm only see myself. So it says everybody, young and old, should get a ram and tie it to your bedpost. That means this consciousness works 24/7. And the night before Passover, kill it and burn it. There's nothing left of it. Do you get it now? It's a code.
Kill the ego.
And there is another thing. They say you should bring chametz your house. You should get rid of the chametz in your house. So chametz is what? Is ego. Right? Chametz, that means ego. They say that you have to clean everything in your house that has chametz. So that means that I really look into myself. You see, what is my negative consciousness? What am I afraid of? What is wrong with me? Am I too jealous? Am I too needy? Do I have entitlement issues? Am I a victim conscious? Where is this ego residing? Where is it? Look for it. Look for it. When it says look for in your house for the chametz, that means look into your own life, look into your own consciousness, and seize where is this aspect of ego in you. Is it my jealousy? Is it my control? Is it my hate? Is it my uncertainty? Where is it? Look into it, find it. They say you should do, when you totally cleanse your house, you should get a candle. You should get a candle and go look the corner of your house to see if there is any chametz everywhere.
Make sure you got rid of all of it.
That means, bravo. That means the ego is so smart, so dark, so hidden, that it might hide itself somewhere in my consciousness. The only way to eliminate my ego is what? To put lights on it. A candle lights. So before starting today, until Passover, until next Friday night, look into yourself. Be honest with yourself. Where is my ego? How my ego is showing into my life? Where is it? Is it my uncertainty? Is it my fear? Is it my selfishness? Is it my control issue? Is it my sadness? Is it my depression? Whatever it is. And identify it for yourself. All you have to do is identify it for yourself. And comes Passover, ask the light force to wash it away. Wash it away. I would love to see all of you Saturday morning of the first day of Passover here in the synagogue. We do amazing, amazing services. I would love every one of you guys to be with me that morning. I promise you we're going to have meditation, we're going to do wonderful things, we're going to have a wonderful